So hello everyone. Welcome to the inaugural, the first ever SheVestor Africa webinar. My name is Chinonye Donna Egbulem, and I am a creative fellow at SheVestor Africa. And today we have our two lovely guests, Naseema McElroy, and we have Charlotte Addison. So Charlotte is joining us from Ghana. I'm based in the Washington, D.C. metro area here in D.C., and Naseema is based in Oakland, California. So welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you. And so for those of you who don't know what SheVestor Africa is, it's an amazing platform. So if you haven't already joined the community, you need to hop on that. SheVestor Africa is a prime financial literacy community. It's for the African millennial. We focus on sharing engaging content on personal finance, personal development, inspiration, advice really just for women who are based both in Africa and in the diaspora. If you feel as if you identify closely with the community, please do join. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. Definitely tune in to we will have a host of series that we plan to have on a monthly basis. So please join. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our two guest speakers. So first we'll start off with Naseema. Outside of encouraging people to get their financial act together, Naseema McElroy is a mother and a labor and delivery nurse. Though she had been making six figures for years, she struggled with money. Finally realizing that she couldn't out-earn her financial ignorance, she knew she had to make some changes. By shifting her mindset around money, being consistent and intentional, she was able to pay off just under $1 million in debt in 2.5 years. That is impressive, Naseema. So today she will be extracting from her experience. She will be sharing some tips with us, simple, actionable tools that can help you all who are tuning in to set you on the right path financially. So welcome, Naseema.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So give me 1 second. So we also have Miss Charlotte Addison. She is a writer of poems, short stories. She's the creator of the Afri-Wori Literary Project and curator of the book, The Different Shades of the Feminine Mind. She also is very special and valuable to us because she is a proud co-founder of the SheVestor Africa platform. So thank you, Charlotte, for coming. So just to give you guys an overview of what we will be doing today, we are going to, essentially this will be a Q&A session. And if there are any viewers that have joined us, please feel free to send us questions. We do have a live chat box that is open. Send us questions. We'll be more than happy to take those. If we can't get to it by the end of this webinar, we will be more than happy to follow up afterwards. And so we'll take those questions at the end, you know, with the remaining 10 minutes. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So, Naseema, how did you manage to do it? Tell us a little bit about you. Like, what is your winning formula for all the financial success that you've had thus far?
You know, looking back, it seems like this incredible feat, but while I was going through it, it was really a struggle. It was really, that I made too much money to be broke. Like I had no savings, and my daughter was turning 1, and I was just like, I have nothing to leave to my daughter if something was to happen to me today. Like she would have nothing. I had a house that I still had a mortgage on, and I knew that things needed to change. I needed to get it together. And so I started doing some research on personal finance and kind of discovered some formulas to change things around. What I first had to understand was that a lot of what was holding me back was debt. And, you know, debt is a major issue in the US, especially student loan debt. At that time, I had over $200,000 in student loan debt. I was paying almost $2,000 a month in student loan payments. And I was just like, you know, this has to change. And what I had to come to learn was that our income is our greatest wealth building tool. But if I'm spending such a tremendous portion of my income paying down debt, I wasn't using my income to build wealth. And so what I had to do was focus on eliminating that debt. And so I got really intentional. I figured out who I owed, how much I owed, and I created a plan to use every single dollar of my income to eliminate this debt. And I was able to achieve that. And then, like you said, 2.5 years, I was able to pay off just a little under $1 million in debt.
Wow, that's no easy feat. So for all of those who are tuning in, you know, Nasima is the go-to person. She is living proof that if you are in a lot of debt, or even if you're not in a lot of debt, but if you're just looking to be very intentional about your spending and your saving habits, you know, there definitely is a way. It's all about budgeting, and hopefully she will share more with us.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay.
So, Charlotte, you live in Ghana. I know that for those living in Ghana, you know, culture is a little bit different. You know, as Nasima mentioned, here in the U.S., so many students, like the average student who's coming out of, you know, whether it's undergrad, their graduate studies, they have a lot of debt. Would you say for those living, you know, on the continent, more specifically in Ghana, what do you have to say about debt management, or just like just typical spending habits, especially as it relates to the African woman?
All right. For most African women, we don't have debt like it is in the US, because for most people, when we go through school, your school fees is paid for, or you're either on a scholarship. So for most of the women, their debt is in fashion, gadgets, and things of that nature. Trying to, you know, either be in competition with your friends, or, you know, or to keep up with the Kardashians, things like that.
Really?
That's the normal spending habits here.
Okay, so people like to look good.
Yeah.
But we do want to be very mindful.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for those who want to look good on a budget? Yeah, what do you suggest, or what do you recommend that they do?
Well, you said the key word is to have a budget. In order to really be in control of your finances, you have to tell every one of your dollars where to go, and you have to be in control of your money, or else your money will find other places to go. So if fashion is your priority, whatever your priority is, you have to make sure that you allocate a certain amount of money every month. And it's going to change every month because there's different things that happen every month. It might be your birthday this month. It might be your kid's birthday the next month. And those are the things that you want to focus on. So what you need to do every month, you need to have a plan for your money, and you stick to that plan, and you do it repeatedly. That's it.
Yeah, I definitely concur. I agree. So as she's saying, you know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good or to wanting to be fashionable, but you have to be very mindful. So at the end, if you have any questions, feel free to follow up via email. And if you need assistance with budgeting, we have a few tools that we'd be more than happy to share with you. So Charlotte, just trying to play off of that, why would you say it's expedient for the African women to build a financial life? Why is it important?
Well, for me, first and foremost, a financial life to me is the intentional planning of finances towards the long-term goal of becoming financially independent. And it's very, very important or expedient for women, especially, to have a financial life, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to do something for yourself first as a human being, then as a woman, then as a mother, and as a change agent in the society. And it's important for you to have the means to be able to carry that out. And so that is one of the reasons why it's important for women to be financially independent. Also, women need to be able to support their own dreams, and also being financially independent gives them the voice and ability to make their own choices without having someone else say, no, dude, go this way or do that, you know, and they have to follow that because they don't have the means to be able to support themselves, you know, and then let their own dreams die or fade out and then buy into other people's suggestions or dreams for them. So essentially being able to have that voice and that ability to make a choice is why financial independence is expedient.
That's deep. I think that the key word or the takeaway that I'm hearing from you, both you and from Nasima, is that it's important to put yourself in a position to be empowered. And when it comes to SheVestor Africa, that's ultimately what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to empower women. They're trying to say it is possible, whether you're single, whether you're married, no matter what your role is in society, whether you have kids. You know, there's so much value that comes in being financially literate. Nasima, how would you define financial literacy? Because not too many people know. You know, I feel like it's one of those buzzwords that just kind of get thrown out there. But what does it mean?
I believe financial literacy is having a plan for your money, knowing where your money is going to go, and making sure that your actions, your daily actions, align with that plan. So financial literacy is not just about understanding like basic financial concepts. It's about the application of those financial concepts in your life.
That is very true. You know, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about a friend of mine the other day. He's Nigerian. We traveled to New York, and it was interesting because this is someone who's bringing in over, you know, 300K a year, and you know, we were just comparing him to some of his colleagues that may not be bringing in as much. You know, they might only be bringing in 50K a year. But the funny thing about it is that, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter how much you're bringing in, as it does, you know, what your goals are. And financial literacy is all about being able to achieve those goals and to be able to not steer away and to not fall into a financial rut. Because someone who's making 300K versus someone who's making 50K, you know, that person who's making 50K, they can still save way more than the person who's making 400K.
Well, what happens is that typically people who are making 300K have what's called lifestyle creep. Is that they buy the expensive house, they buy the expensive car, and instead of making sure that you increase that margin between your spending and saving, you increase your spending. And so they're not any further ahead than the person making 50K, because it's not about what you make, it's about what you save and what you do with that savings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's interesting because I think you're trying to you kind of playing into a myth. There are so many myths when it comes to the world of finance. So Nasima, could you share with us 3 money myths that stop women from really being able to achieve their financial goals and essentially build a financial life?
I really feel like the number one myth that stops women from being really intentional about their finances is because they think that it has to be complicated. And ladies, it is not that complicated. It's very simple. And that's the barrier that people put up so that you don't get intentional about your money. But ladies, it's really about having a simple plan around your money. It really is simple. It's really about do step 1, do step 2, do step 3, and I'll talk about those steps later. But it's really simple. Don't let the world of finances or numbers or some man tell you that it has to be difficult. It's not that difficult. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that people hear the word budget and they get freaked out and they think that they have to live a life of deprivation. It's not about deprivation. It's about you being in control of your money. A budget is where you tell your money to go, where to go. It's like you are the chief financial officer of your money and you give every one of your dollars an assignment, and therefore you have control of your money so that that money doesn't just leave you. You know exactly where you're going to spend that dollar. You know where it's going to go in advance, even if you get any extra money, where your money is going. And that is paramount to being successful financially. And also, a lot of people are scared to build other streams of income or invest because, again, they think that it's complicated. So the money myths are that, you know, they think it's too complicated. They're not telling their money where to go, and they're not investing their money in. And all overarching above that is that sometimes as women, we don't feel like we deserve to be wealthy. And ladies, you deserve to have it all, everything that you want in life, but first you have to believe. And that's it.
Okay. To add to that, I think that one of the money myths is that a man is a financial plan or a financial goal. So,
yeah.
So that's one of them, and which is actually a bad one because that's not true. That's
right.
Not true.
And let me just tell you, I'm a single mom. I did this all on my own without the help of a man. So it's possible.
Wow.
Yes. And also, I think that there's a myth that women can make financial decisions by themselves, and the fact that they are. It's also a myth that they are they are averse to risk. That's one of the myths out there, and so I think that's why it's important for us to have this discussion now for people to learn from it. So you know that these things are not true; they're just myths. So
exactly.
Right. So, for women out there who may, be married or, maybe Nasima, you said you're a single mother. So if you are a single mom, just you've been on this journey for a while now. It's been over 2 years. What would you say helped you? I know, of course, budgeting. It sounded like you had a plan. But what were some things that really came to mind when it came to trying to figure out what was of great priority? Especially as a mother, as a parent. I think I was reading one of the articles or one of the blogs that you got a chance to be featured on. And I recall reading something about how you were able to create a savings account for your daughter. So, for mothers out there, whether single, married, whatever their relationship status may be, is there anything that comes to mind when it comes to trying to figure out what to prioritize and what to think about?
Right. So the number one thing about building a financial life is understanding what your purpose is. Like, what is your why? What is that thing that's overarching that you want to strive for, that's stronger than any bad money habits that you have, that's stronger than you wanted to go and buy this outfit because you just want it. It's not a need. So what is strong? What is the strong thing in your life that you're aiming towards? For me, I have my daughter, and she is the world. She means the world to me. And I want to make sure that she doesn't have to struggle the way that I had to struggle. I want to make sure that she has the financial acumen that I didn't have. I want to make sure that she has money to provide for herself, for her kids, and for her grandkids. It's about building generational wealth for me. And anytime that I look at those things that are considered needs, I say, is this worth trading in my daughter having financial security? And if the answer is no, that means I don't need it. And so that's what drives me, and that's what motivates me. I'm able to, I've paid off my debt. I'm able now to invest for my future. And in a couple years, I'll be in a financial position where I don't even have to work. So me and my daughter will just travel the world, and we'll get to explore different cultures, because I believe that that's the best way that you can learn firsthand. My daughter is going to have money put aside in her savings account that she can do whatever she wants with it. She can travel to different countries and learn in different institutions. The world is her oyster, and that's what I'm providing for her. But first I had to decide that she was more important than all these little things that I wanted to buy from the store. And so that's all you have to do. You have to determine a strong why, and your daily actions have to coincide with that decision.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah. So I actually failed to introduce myself. So for those of you that are wondering, yeah, my name is Chinonye. Call me Chi-Chi for short. And my background is in public health, and it's in social work. So by day, I work as a health and social services clinical coordinator. And in my spare time, I love event planning. I have a platform for those of you who are interested in home decor and are looking for, maybe like an Afro chic aesthetic. My platform is called JuneAfrica.com, www.joonafrica.com. And the reason why I bring that up is because I know my business partner and I, we, for years, we always had this vision. We were always networking. We were always in the right spaces. We were always, collaborating with people. And the one thing that was really holding us or preventing us from being able to launch was just fear of the unknown. I was, both my business partner and I, she just graduated from law school. I graduated just this past May. And fun fact, we had registered our business. Our business was just sitting there. We had registered. It had been a whole year prior to when we actually launched. And this was all due to fear. So, and I have, had the privilege. I'm Nigerian. I have a Nigerian background. And if I know anything about what it means to be African, to be Nigerian, to be West African, every other person I know, they have that hustle within them, especially as a woman. I grew up seeing my mother, take on 2-3 different jobs, hustling, just to be able to make sure that school fees were paid, that our needs were met. So, Charlotte, you're in Ghana. I have had the privilege of, I've been to Accra, I've been to Kumasi. I love Kumasi. And I think, Nasima, you've also been to Ghana as well, right?
Yes, I actually spent 6 months in Ghana as a travel abroad student. I went to the University of Ghana in 2002, at the latter part of 2002. So I am very familiar with Ghana. Etisen.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I know that, and I just got back from Nigeria this past January. And while I was there were so many women that I would cross paths with, and they just, you know, they'd be like, Auntie, please, what can I do? Like, I want to be bringing in money. Like, we're looking for money. What can we do?
Charlotte. You know what? I heard that too. But when I was in Ghana, they was like, I need to marry an American man. Like, listen, you got this business right here. You making money. You could come to America and make racks. How good you braid hair. Like, listen, like, don't focus on the man as a financial plan. Focus on what you can do to bring money into your family. And so, you know, we all got it. We all got it, but we just have to get over that fear, like you said, Pichi.
Yes, women. So all my African women out there, don't underestimate your value and your power and your strength. It's very important.
I think that we also have lots of ideas. There are business ideas all over the place. Sometimes we think and we feel that we need to have a huge budget or a huge sum of money to do it. Sometimes you need to start with what you have, and then you have friends, you have family, you can start selling something. If you can drive and you have a car, if you're a student in the university, you can do Uber. That's something else you can do while being a student. That can bring in extra income. And there are different things that people can do, but sometimes we keep looking at the big picture and then not looking at the little things around us that we can start with.
Absolutely, well said. That's true. There are so many different ways and to bring in multiple streams of income, whether it's through real estate or, like Charlotte was saying, you know, something as simple as driving. Everyone needs it. Everyone needs a ride somewhere. Like, so definitely, you know, at the bottom of this link, don't forget to subscribe to SheVestor Africa across our various platforms. You know, the SheVestor Africa team, we're always sharing infographics, we're sharing resources. If you need assistance, if you need guidance, if you need, please don't have, it's all about taking the initiative to do what it takes to make yourself financially literate so that you can achieve your financial goals. And that brings me to my next question. You know, Nasima, you mentioned while you were in Ghana, people kept on asking you, oh, please, can you help me to find an American husband? It was the same during my time in Burkina Faso. I speak a little bit of French, and while I was in Burkina, I just remember, like, you know, women would stop me, Tanti, please, s'il te plaît, help me, like, help me to find a man that will bring me to America. How, so this is for both you, Nasima, and you, Charlotte. How should the African woman perceive financial independence? What does that mean?
You want to go first, Charlotte?
Okay, so for what women should be able to financial independence in this way, that is the ability to be able to completely support themselves financially without an external factor. That is how they should see financial independence. If you're able to get to the point, you don't need someone extra help from outside, then you have been able to achieve financial independence.
Yeah, when I was in Ghana, what I saw was so much talent, so much access to natural resources. I mean, and I just saw like other countries just coming in and exploiting it. And I just felt like there was so much potential in Ghana. For example, the oil industry, the cocoa industry, and even just raw talent like braiding hair, like the talent that was there, the industriousness of the people. I just felt like if people really just tapped into these raw talents that they had, that there was no limit to their financial potential. And I just wish people could understand and see that.
Mm-hmm. And to speak to that, I would also say, so I just want to clarify, we're talking about financial independence. I hope that, oftentimes when I'm talking with my friends, sometimes they feel as if I'm coming off as too, feminist, and sometimes it can have a bad rap. So this conversation is not in any way, shape, or form meant to deter. You can be married. You can, you can, you can be married and you can still be financially independent. I think that it's important to differentiate and to really clarify that it really is all about having these financial goals. If you are in a relationship, feel free to have a discussion with whomever your significant other may be. If you have kids, please do what you can to empower them. No one is too young to learn about. I remember when I was 12 years old, my parents sent me to like a week-long boot camp, and we learned all about saving, budgeting, and the lessons that I learned, so many years back, I still carry them, and it's helped me. I remember 2 years ago, I stepped into a bank, and I was speaking with one of the bank tellers, and I was just like, I want to learn more about the different types of accounts that I can open, because it's not just about having a savings account. There's so many different ways to save. So it really is all about educating yourself, empowering yourself with that knowledge, and using that to create your personal brand. And also, taking, for example, home decor. Like I found myself, I was always going out and about, going shopping with my friends, helping them to really design their spaces. I was always just like in different spaces, networking, having fun. And I was thinking, hey, I don't mind doing things for free here and there, but there's so much power in this talent, and there's a niche, and people need these services. So don't hesitate, all along the way, whether you're, doing the services for free or whether you're doing it at a cost, please make an effort to really build your brand. You see, Nasima, she is a nurse by day, and she has taken the time to really, this is something that's near and dear to her: finance, budgeting, financial wellness, and she's built her personal brand. And please don't forget to follow her on IG, Financially Intentional. You also have a Facebook group as well, right?
Yep, my Facebook group is just search Financially Intentional in the group section of Facebook, and you'll see my group. And my group is very informative, and we have a lot of like-minded people in there that share information. So I strongly advise you to join the group.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And wait, hold on, Chi. I need to hire you to do my home decor. While you're speaking of that, because you didn't even tell me that before, because girl, I need you, because listen, I'll pay you all the monies to come and do the decor stuff, because I like a nice house, but I'm not into shopping for all that. I don't have the eye for it, I should say. So yes, your services are very valuable, and I'll pay you for that.
Thank you for your support. Yeah, and also for anyone who is tuning in, anyone who is we embrace creators of all kinds, whether you are in that design space, whether you do graphic design, whether you make jewelry, if you're an artisan, if you're an artist, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We are looking for people to join our platform. And it also will be the perfect opportunity to learn more about opportunities to bring in more revenue into your pockets. So it's a win-win situation. So I know, I know we've been sharing little tips here and there, but Nasima, if you could offer us, tell us important strategies that we can use for all the women, young women out there, both in the diaspora and on the continent. What tools can we use to really be able to achieve the financial freedom, or what steps can we take? You've talked about, so far, if I could summarize, you've talked about budgeting, you've talked about finding your why. What is of great importance to you? What drives you? I know I don't have any kids, but I have three younger sisters, and I was able to graduate from school debt-free just from really, exploring, tapping into all of the resources that were available to me. So for my younger sisters, they're not as they're not as resourceful as I am, and so I'm all about coming up with ways to save money. So for me, that's my why, my family at this point in time. So finding your why. What else would you recommend?
I think what holds most people back is that they don't have a firm understanding of what is coming in and what is going out. Once you start understanding exactly how much money that you have and how much money that you're spending, and then match that up with your why and what your financial goal is. If your financial goal is to pay off debt, like in my situation, if your financial goal is to save for starting your own business, whatever that financial goal is, you need to set on a monthly basis priority. So you need to prioritize whatever dollar amount you need to save for that goal. And so in understanding how much money is coming in and how much money is coming out, you need to increase that gap. That's called the wealth gap, right? So you need to increase how much money you're bringing in, decrease how much money you're spending, and whatever is in between is going to go towards your financial goal. And so that's what you need to focus on, making that gap as big as possible. Therefore, it's going to really accelerate the process of you reaching that financial goal. And so that is the key to financial success, focusing on that gap and then accelerating the payments toward whatever you're trying to do, whatever financial goal you're at that particular time.
Well said.
So, okay, to add to that really is that some of the strategies you can employ is to become a planner, because those who plan for their future are the ones who actually end up with some wealth. So you need to become a planner. You need to also recognize that you are an important asset yourself. Your skills, your talent, your value, really. You need to be able to cash in on that. Also, you need to be able to develop a habit of saving and investing, and also become a financial literate. That's why we are here at SheVestor Africa. That's why you need to be a part of our community. That's why you need to follow us and learn from some of these virtual workshops that we're having, like this seminar and then this webinar, and then learn about your financial, get to have some financial knowledge in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. So resources. There's so many out there. Join Nasima's group. The running theme here is, empower yourself, educate yourself, learn, so that you can save and grow. And we want to
also just surround yourself with the people who you want to be like. Surround yourself with the people who are making money moves like you want to make money moves, okay? Because if you surround yourself with broke people, guess what? You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, you're going to be broke, okay? So if you want to start making money, you reach out to those people who you feel are influencers in your community. Those people who you're like, all right, she's doing it, let me do it like her, let me reach out to her. And 9 times out of 10, they'll accept you into their communities. And so make sure, and just even within our group, like there's a group of like-minded people, even on Facebook and Instagram, anywhere you can just reach out and be like, these are people who I aspire to, let me start following them. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be somebody physically in your community. You can build virtual circles around people that you want to surround yourself with. So these are very important tools in order to get ahead in life.
Absolutely. I know in Ghana, there's so many workshops out there, both free, you might have to pay a small fee, conferences, go out of your way, like Nasima said, to just, it's not solely about, learning all about finance, whether it's you want to learn more about your own personal trade, or if you want to network and meet other people that are doing the same thing that you are doing. Go out of your way to, your network is your net worth. So go out of your way to find those spaces and step out of your comfort zone. And like Nasima said, surround yourself with like-minded people. It will take you very far. And so we're nearing the end. But there's something that you said, Nasima, that really resonated with me. You said, you know, if you surround yourself by broke people, you are going to be broke. You know, it's not by force. You might not necessarily be broke, but the point that we're trying to make is that, you know, there are people out there who they might be making a lot of money, or even if they're not making a lot of money, the bottom line is that they're not necessarily making smart financial choices. So, Nasima, for people who are out there who are just barely making ends meet and they're trying to survive, and they feel like they don't feel empowered to make smart financial choices or decisions because the struggle is very real. What advice would you give to people who are in debt and can barely save money on a monthly basis? Because it is a challenge.
It's definitely, the struggle is definitely real. But what's also very real is that once you get your mindset right about what you deserve in life and what you have to bring to the table, I feel like you break down a lot of barriers that people, and these barriers are the artificial barriers that we put in place. I feel like there's a limitless amount of potential and wealth in this world. And once we feel that we're worthy of achieving that, then we start putting the actions in place to actually achieve that. Like I said, I feel like everyone has a gift. Everyone has a talent. And once you tap into that and explore, then you start building wealth. Like, for example, you, Chichi, you said you were so scared about your interior design business and going into that. And that's just based on fear. There's people out here who will just throw money at you, like me, you know? And so you have to overcome those things, but you also have to understand what you have to bring to the table. But in doing that, you have to decide that you are worthy. And once you decide that and really, really believe that you are worthy of being wealthy, of building the financial life that you deserve, things will start happening. Things will start being put in motion that help you to achieve everything that you can imagine, anything that you can imagine. And so the first step is to believe in yourself. The second step is to start surrounding yourself with those people that you aspire to. It doesn't have to be people in your community. Listen to podcasts, listen to YouTube videos of people that you aspire to. Join groups, like Facebook groups. Listen to webinars like this. SheVestor is an excellent resource. So once you put yourself in those positions, then things will start happening in your life that are going to propel you towards your goals. So you might be struggling right now, but you don't have to struggle. So the struggle is real, but what's also real is that you deserve to be wealthy, and you need to strive every day to put actions in place to achieve wealth.
Well said. You know, Charlotte, I know that you're, because I'm just thinking about what Nasima's talking about, and I'm thinking, you know, my background is in social work, so I'm all about, like, I'm really good at pulling resources and finding them, and I know that the resources are vast here in the U.S. We have so many different types of programs. I mean, if you are, you know, struggling just to pay your rent, there are programs out there that you can find. But, you know, I think that, you know, this platform isn't just for people who are in the diaspora. You know, we also are targeting people that are in Johannesburg, people that are in Lagos, people that are in Accra. So for those people who are on the continent, are there resources that people can tap into, or do those resources look a little different? And if so, Charlotte, tell our African sisters what kind of resources they can tap into, because it's important, you know?
All right. well, the thing is that the whole thing is quite different. The resource structure is different from what you have in the diaspora. So sometimes it's very difficult to actually go out there, and probably have an agency where you can go and say, oh, I'm actually in debt, or I'm homeless, or things of that nature. We don't really have a structure or a system like that. So what most people do is to either go to their family or go to their friends for support, and that's what is actually here. So if you're struggling, or we are barely making ends meet, I think that one of the things that you could do really is to focus on growing your income. Take on a side hustle, do something that it's not in your normal that's not your normal job or your day job, but you could take on a side hustle to balance out things for you, because it gets challenging because we don't have these structures in place to support people who are barely making ends meet. So take on a side hustle, focus on generating more income. Probably are being paid less at your workplace. You could actually use your voice, go up and tell them, based on my qualification, based on the input based on my work input, I think that I could get a bit of a raise. That's cool. Take on some other side jobs, side gigs, and then balance things out.
Okay. So for people who are on the continent, you heard Charlotte, she said it. It's all about being able to really figure out what your talents are. We all have talents. So I don't want to hear you say that you don't know what to do, because if you're struggling, please do reach out to us on any of our platforms, because that's what this platform is for. It's all about helping the African women, learn more about themselves, learn more about how they can empower themselves and what they can do. And
also,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, also, for instance, one other thing that you could do is to actually connect with an expert. Tell the person, this is my situation. Where do I go from here? From some kind of technical advice. That also helps. So reach out to an expert via either one of our Twitter chats, via some of the resources. You can connect with an expert directly and ask the necessary questions. This is my financial state right now. Where do I go from here? And I believe that they'll be able to support. They'll be able to help. Talk to an expert. One of either an expert directly and ask the necessary questions. This is my financial state right now. Where do I go from here? And I believe that they'll be able to support. They'll be able to help.
Right.
Talk to an expert.
Thank you. Absolutely. So it sounds like, are there any resources that come to mind apart from the SheVestor Africa platform?
There are other financial experts on the continent. We have Smart Chinonye Donna, there is Palesa Lengolo. We had a Twitter chat with her last week. There is Mapalo Maku, she's based in South Africa. There's Christine Sessa from Sierra Leone. She was in Accra for a SheVestor event. What's her name? Sam K. There's Sam K also from South Africa. And there are people around, so if you connect, you should be able to get help.
Okay. And Nasima, I know before we got on this the webinar, you had mentioned that you have a colleague of yours that is like a finance guru. What's her name?
She's Bola of Clever Girl Finance. She's Nigerian. Check out Clever Girl Finance and the Clever Girls Know platform. And she has an abundance of financial resources. She has a lot of followers in Nigeria and all throughout the continent. But she is a wealth of knowledge around financial resources. And like I said, she is from Nigeria. She did come to the States to do some of her college. And her claim to fame is that she was able to save over $100,000 while only making $50,000 a year. And she did this over a 3-year period. So, you know, she's a rock star when it comes to finances. So
Wow.
you guys check out Clever Girl Finance.
Hey. Clever Girl Finance, another platform that I know that focuses every once in a while on, you know, Finance 101. She Leads Africa. They are based in Lagos, and they have webinars of their own. Check out their platform. Are there any other resources? There are, I mean, a quick Google search, like you can find different programs. Like if you don't want to manually develop a budget on your own. The other day, someone was telling me, I think it's called Feed the Pig. I don't know. Have you heard of it?
I use Every Dollar. That's what I used to do my zero-based budgeting. I've never heard of Actually, I have heard of Feed the Pig, but I never really like looked into it. But I use Every Dollar, and that's a zero-based budgeting app. So things like that are really helpful resources in order for you to get in control of your finances.
And in this day and age where tech is just explosive, you know, you said the word app, and like ding ding ding, like even if you have whether you have a Droid or iPhone, I'm team iPhone, hey, but you definitely, there are apps out there. There are free apps. There are apps that you can pay for. Check out those apps. And you know, apps are good. If you have like an app on your phone, those come in handy because you can just, it helps you to like, your phone is always around you. So it can help you to keep track of your expenses and what's going out of your pockets and what's coming in. So yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much concludes today's Q&A session. I did check to see, I don't think we have any questions from our viewers, but this webinar will be available to you on the SheVestor YouTube channel. So for those who are just tuning in, or for those who are checking this out later, please do go back, subscribe to all of our platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Charlotte, could you share more about the Twitter chats? You mentioned that you have Twitter chats regularly.
Yeah, so we had started monthly Twitter chats. We had a first one in February. Our next one is, no, we had a first one in March. So our next one is in April. So do stick and stay with us. Follow us on our social media pages for more information on our Twitter chats. And then we'll be having more webinars as well. So
yes, that is true. We'll be having monthly webinars. We don't know yet what our topic is. It's a surprise for all of our fashionistas out there. We might have, you know, a session for how to be bougie on a budget, because it is possible. We'll have more resources. We'll probably focus on more specifically on debt management, budgeting, etc. Yeah. And if you haven't already, Charlotte, do you want to share the link for the website? Please do subscribe so that you can be receiving, you know, emails and updates about what's happening.
yes, so you can check out www.SheVestorAfrica.org.
Thank you. Thank you so much for Nasima for joining us. We're so happy to have you on our platform today, on the webinar today as our guest. And yeah, that pretty much concludes today's session. It's a wrap. We will be looking out for your questions. We'll take questions. And without further ado, that's it.
Bye.
Bye.